All right, good morning, everybody. I'm just going to take a few seconds to scan the room and know my elders that are in the room and pay honor to whom honor is due. Uncle Dayo, Adedayo, good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody. You won't understand that Idobale. Uncle Kola Shalusi, good morning, sir. In 2014, I went to Mr. Dayo Adedayo's house, and that's going to be the beginning of my so-called keynotes, because I think I came this morning to give you some keys, so it's a keynote. And when visiting his house, he doesn't know this story, so he's hearing it for the first time. Before he came out of his room, I was flipping through, I was scanning his sitting room, and I was just looking, and I saw some books, saw some frames on the walls, and I was wondering, number one, where the house was. Seen a photographer get this house. And then he came out, we spoke, but a seed was sown in my heart that day. And then in 2015, I went to his house in Abuja. He can't remember that as well. And then I went through his house and I said, photography. It sowed a big seed in my heart that the future is possible, and at that moment, the future was starting. I didn't even know what was happening to me, but it was really a seed that then began to germinate. And as I walked through 8 years with the president, it wasn't about being a political person. It was about the seed being watered while in government. And that seed was about the future of our country, which is how do creatives move from creativity to creative enterprise. And if there's one person in this room today that embodies that creative enterprise and the business of creativity, I want you to give a big round of applause to Mr. Dayo Adedayo. Secondly, Mr. Kola Shalusi. In 2011, I was a typical wait and get photographer. Yes, wait and get. I'm proud to say I'm wait and get, because I was waiting and getting. I left Port Harcourt, squatted in a luxurious bus to go to Kaduna to go and do wait and get. And then when I was waiting, sometimes when I come, I will not get. Because the people at the conference, MBA conference, I went to document. Immediately I was coming back, some of them have finished the session and they've left. So I will hold the 5x7 and go around looking at the picture and looking for the faces. And a lot of times I went back to Port Harcourt with loads of 5x7s that never turned into money. So I waited, and sometimes I did not get anything. But this morning, I remember Mr. Kola Shalusi, which is insignia. Until today, he's still doing it. Consistency, that's number one. And then I will run to Muson. We come to Muson, we go to Eco Hotels, and I was shooting for him. But then I did not understand. I was just shooting. But number one, he was empowering me. And I remember taking pictures, and on red carpet, I would have to take pictures, and some people like, no, I don't want your picture. I don't want picture. Me Bayo Omoboriowo. To God be the glory. You won't understand. There was someone that I was meant to photograph for that said, no, who is Bayo Omoboriowo? It's not Bayo Omoboriowo I'm looking for. Some years ago, he heard about me and said, Boboye, do I have photo for you? Now people are begging me, and with all humility, to put my logo on their picture that I did not take. Now, that I did not even take the picture, but I should just add the logo to the picture to validate the potency of the picture. But Mr. Kola Shalusi will take red carpet pictures, we'll just keep hustling together, but he has consistently remained the same, building enterprise from this picture game. But good morning, everybody. Because I did not come to talk as a photographer today. And I did not come to talk to photographers this morning. I came to talk to creative businessmen. Because the future of Nigeria needs, and we've done very well as photographers. We've done very well as photographers. Mr. Bayo, you remember in 2013, 14, there is no amazing image that comes out of Nigeria that they don't have to bring white people to come and photograph in Nigeria. You know, you are working, there are photographers working for Reuters, AFP. 2012, 2013, there was nothing like that. They have to ship in photographers to Nigeria. But today they are shipping out photographers from Nigeria. I think we all deserve a big round of applause. So this morning, Mr. Kola has given me permission. If it is by, can I see the presentation? So I have presentation, if it is by presentation. But this morning, in my usual nature, I don't always follow presentations. Because I think I came to communicate the spirit of the conversation and not the letters. And what I came to do this morning is to make us see what is possible. They say we are giants of Africa. This morning I came to wake up the sleeping giants. And I am doing that as someone who has been through it, who has seen it. I may not have seen everything, but I think I was blessed by an accelerated career. And at this point, I tell people jokingly these days that I'm no longer a photographer, but they don't want to accept. They say it's not possible. But I think my life and the privilege of doing a degree in arts and cultural management in the UK changed my mindset about my approach to this craft called photography. Right now, I'm on the journey of building an army of people who believe that the income they did not teach me okay. That believe that the income and the numbers written on these screens are not just mere mathematics, but naira, dollars, pounds that can actually trickle down into our pockets. The creative industry generates annual revenues of over $2 trillion. $2 trillion global. Nigeria alone can generate up to 2.7 million jobs. And then in itself, Nigeria alone can, by 2050, become one of the biggest industries, that can compete even with the production industries in Nigeria. But one of the things for me that I came to inspire you about is that in Nigeria, we've stayed just at the point of craft. We sit down and we're talking about who has and then people send me messages, all kinds of messages. I see different messages, Mr. Bayo. And they say, what lens do you use? And then what aperture did you shoot that image in? I'm here to confess publicly that till today, that thing you people call f-stopper and light metering and all those things, I don't know it. And I don't want to know it. And I don't choose to know it. Why? The limitation of our mind. And that doesn't mean I don't use it. But when we sit down and we are measuring against each other, and what we celebrate is the number of comments and likes that we get on Instagram, we are not ready for industry. Because the real business is how do we translate this craft into products into industries, and that is the revolution Africa needs. A lot of us have sat down at the point where we enjoy the craft. You would rather spend 20 hours of your day editing, which you should have actually corrected while shooting. And then you spend 1 hour thinking through. I wish us well, but today I came to just tell us we've done well as photographers. And we have done well as creatives. Of course, we can do much more. But we need to start thinking about numbers. We need to start thinking about how we sell ourselves as a product. We need to realize that what we are doing, we are custodians of culture. And the way we position ourselves as a reflection on the way Nigeria becomes, the way Nigeria is seen, and the way Nigeria is valued and treasured in the Committee of Nations. And until we position ourselves not just as creatives again, but as thought leaders that can sit on the table with giants, and it's possible. It's possible. It is possible. And I just want you to face your neighbor and say it is possible. Guys, I'm not saying possibilities on paper. Mr. Adedayo. Again, I'm so happy that he is right in front of me. If I ask us, what is creative industries? A lot of us might not even have the details of what the creative industry is actually about. If I ask you, what is creative enterprise? You might not necessarily have paid attention to it. And this is what I want you to leave this room with today. That you go back home and begin to research, what is this industry about? Do you know that photography is just a layer of the craft for those of you that are photographers? Under photography, you can turn photography into an artwork that can sell as high as $100,000 a frame. We have not explored it, sir. Less than 1% of photographers in Nigeria are doing the arts of photography. So the art of photography is one thing that can position you globally. And it's time for us. I'm tired of seeing photographers who just snap. It's time to create. It's time to create. And what is creating? You go back into your mind. You sit down, you research, you analyze. You get into dark rooms and you're processing. All of us were handed over digital camera and we just started snapping. We never spent time to create. And one of the first process of creating is to develop artworks that can go to MoMA, go anywhere in the world and sell as high as millions of dollars. That is how we can get to that number and contribute to that number. No, see, I'm here to tell you that it's enough. It's time to stop getting excited about running to people's wedding, to start taking pictures and start running up and down like we have no direction. If you're a wedding photographer, build an industry out of it. If you're a portrait photographer, build, and I just invite Ida Moline, came from Addis Ababa. How many people know Ida Moline? She is, you see, now, only about 3 people know Ida Moline in the room. She's one of the most successful photographers that emerged from Africa. She's in Lagos right now. And again, I'm not marketing. She will be at Mad House tomorrow, on Friday for an open conversation. And why did we bring her? Because it's time for us to begin to shape the mind of people. And what does she do? She will carry models, sit down and paint them, and then wear beautiful fabric on them. And she goes everywhere in the world selling those images. You've been seeing model. We just rub them oil and we snap them. Who won't buy? Sorry. That's why photography seems like it's not selling. Because we've not moved it beyond just snapping into something. And I've gone around the world. Again, I am a cultural and creative industry enabler. I studied it as a degree. Thanks to people like Mr. Adedayo, he will always say, go back to school. Go back to school. Bros, nobody say you pick up for road, go back to school. Go back to school and learn something that exposes your mind. Go back to school. Sell your iPhone. Sell your iPad. Sell everything you can sell. Go back to school. When I was going back to school, I looked at myself. I said, for 8 years I'm working with government. I cannot even earn an extra degree. They said, Bayo, in government, nobody takes leave. Oh. They don't take leave in government. I said, leave. No. Government cannot hold me down. I have a future. And I am still relevant today, my brother. I'm going to still be relevant tomorrow by the grace of God. But go back to school, educate your mind. Educate your mind. Number 2, publishing. Publishing is another layer in the business of photography and creativity that we've not unraveled in Nigeria. And because they always say, I'm always very careful of numbers, but we've been inspired to trade in numbers. And I'm grateful to God, and I'm very grateful to God that we are using this creativity to turn it into something that the world can celebrate. The world can say, I was in London, I just came back from London yesterday, and I was having conversations, and I was telling them numbers, and the white people were like, really? Because they think we are not going to be able to do numbers. We are going to do numbers. and I want you to talk to the person next to you. It's time for numbers. It's not about likes. It's not about comments. In fact, they don't like your picture. In fact, they are liking it too much. It means you are playing to the table and you are dancing to the gallery. They are liking it. They are always liking and commenting on your page. It means you are doing what everybody is fascinated about. To win in this game, you need to go to a space where most people are not. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I did it. I was a Gbogbo photographer. Wedding, burial, naming ceremony, freedom, Ikomo, Gbogbo. And it got to a point where I felt, this is not me. We did wait and get. We did everything. There was nothing I could not snap. We were at the hotel. We were everywhere just taking Whiskey album launch. Sir. I was there. I was the one that covered album launch. But it got to a point where I knew there was more to me. There was more. And I said, you know what? I'm going to focus on wedding photography. I started doing weddings. Myself and Jide Odukoya. And at a point, I said, no. Sir, can you quickly send me 5 pictures? I want to use it on my DP. That was BBM, BlackBerry that time. I'm like, which kind of career is this? I finished with 4.26 from the university. I'm not jobless to do photography now. Why is this one that? So I said, no, I'm done with wedding photography. And I said I was going to go. I remember when I was saying I was leaving wedding photography, people were like, it's not possible. Wedding. Jide Alakija, everybody they were doing weddings, traveling around the world. Wedding was the in thing. Don't leave wedding. It's not possible. Don't leave wedding. How can you make it? I said, no, there's more to me. And I said I was going into documentary photography. At that point, if you see the people that were in documentary photography then, it looked as if you can never make it. Dirty hair, torn jeans, slippers. And I was like, And for those that are Christians, for me, there's a spirit in man. When the spirit tells you, go, go. Me, I heard, and I went. I said, I'm going to documentary photography. Who is my father to work with presidents? I don't even know my local government chairman, not to talk of councillor, not to talk of House of Rep member. I didn't know nobody. But following a path and building my capacity in that area and being intentional, I cleaned out my account to go and buy lens. I went to OK Japan, 2012 or 13. I said, OK Japan. And I don't know how desperate you want it. But the only way Africa, Nigeria can change is that we've got to be desperate and radical. We've got to be desperate. I was so desperate that I went to OK Japan. I said, take my phone. Take everything. I have 200,000 naira. I want to buy a Canon 7D. Take everything. I dropped it on the table. I said, please, I have a shoot tomorrow. Just take everything. That's how bad I wanted it. I've borrowed camera. I've done everything to build a career. How bad do you want it? Because the energy with which, even if I want to help you, even if anybody wants to help you, the energy with iron sharpens iron. Iron does not sharpen wood. So if you come to me and I can't see the energy, and guess what? My hands are already full. Mr. Dayo's hands are already full. You see, Mr. Kelechi Amadiobi just entered. His hands are full. Our hands are full, not because we don't want to help, but because we are looking for people who want to help us as well to help. So you have to help me to help you. So when you say, oh, I've been in your DM, I've been messaging, I've been in Mr. Dayo's DM, Gazmadu is here, I've been in Gazmadu's DM, I've been saying, Gazmadu, just support me, and Gazmadu is not saying anything. They are not even responding. All these top photographers, we don't even know what they are doing. They don't want to help. Who will go help you, not go rip you? But they really want to help. But we are looking for people to help us too. For 8 years, going to 10 years, I've been carrying baggages in helping people. It got to a point that I was already like this, trying to help. I'm glad to say I've contributed hugely to the creative industry in Nigeria. I've helped people who are in high places now, and they are doing amazingly well. And I'm excited and proud about it. For nothing. I don't want anything. But let me tell you, it's not everybody that is like Bayo. If you come with value, you will get value in return. So I came here to just inspire our minds and to tell you that the future is actually possible. And I will run through what... Let's create works and build industries from this creative space. But with the mind that we are a privileged few and that the nation and the continent needs us. Because the fact that you are educated, you have camera, do you know how many? We are just about maybe 5% of the country. So Nigeria needs you The rest of the people less privileged needs you. So as you create with the mind that you are a privileged, part of the privileged few, and whatever you do can support so many other people. Who is your father? Who is your mentor? Who are your advisors? Who are you listening to? We are no longer in the wait and get creative environments. We are global now. We can no longer play wait and get. Secondly, we can no longer see creativity as an hustle. No, please, never use that word again. At the hustle. No. All of us, the hustle. We the hustle, now hustle we dey. No. You are building a business. You are building a company. Even if you start with 2 staff, you start with a team of 5, you are building a company. Stop seeing it as hustle. You dress anyhow, you smell anyhow, you go anyhow. Say, now hustle we dey. Who told you that? We are not in hustle. I see Gazmadu now. See how she's looking. She's not a photographer. We can no longer play like that. Nigeria and Africa, this is my political side now. Nigeria and Africa is crying. Government alone cannot do it. Like the way our parents raised us, it takes a community to raise a child. And I remember when my mother, we were staying in Face Me, I Face You. And I went to borrow polish shoe from my neighbor. And my neighbor told me she doesn't have polish. And I knew she had polish. And I was like, you don't have polish. Then I insulted her. Then my mother heard. Then my neighbor went to tell my mother, and then my mother beat the hell out of me. And I remember going to GSS 1 as well, and my teacher said he's going to flog me for an offense I committed. And I said, why? He said, I know your father. And because I know your father, I cannot watch you fail. And then he flogged the hell out of me. For us to thrive, we have to see ourselves as enablers. And we have to see ourselves as building community. And together, this community will become great. And together, we'll build the Nigeria and the Africa of our dreams. It takes you, it takes me. And together, let's do it. Thank you very much.